Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the 2020 Adult Literacy Research and Training Symposium. My name is Lisa Garcia, and I will be one of your moderators today. Just a reminder to keep yourselves on mute, and if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A section. So for today's opening session, we'll first be hearing from Dean Ron Sisler from Western Michigan University. Then a special video from Kevin Morgan, the CEO of ProLiteracy, and finally a presentation from Sakia Lee from the Kalamazoo Promise. And now I'm going to turn it over to Dean Sisler for the opening remarks.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa. I welcome everyone to the 2020 Adult Literacy Research and Training Symposium. I'm pleased to join you virtually, but live. I'm very honored to say that WMU has been committed to this unique community university partnership for many years, having co-hosted this Adult Literacy Symposium annually since 2015. As you might know, the primary contact for WMU through all these years has been Lisa Garcia, who's hosting this morning's session, who is director of WMU Business Connection and has been co-facilitator for the WMU Kalamazoo Literacy Council Advisory Board, which plans this collaborative activity. I want to also recognize the extraordinary leadership of Michael Evans of the Kalamazoo Literacy Council. The WMU faculty, staff, and college students who have worked with the Kalamazoo Literacy Council and others have made many innovative contributions to adult learning, especially through our College of Health and Human Services. The KLC has hosted 25 internships of our college students over the past 5 years or so. These talented college students have developed health literacy classes to improve wellness outcomes to the community, participated in health fairs, and led outdoor nutrition classes in the Read and Seed Garden. I want to recognize Dr. Dori Ravodas of the KLC WMU Literacy Advisory Board for her expertise in health literacy here at WMU. We have hosted as well Bachelor in Social Work and Master in Social Work interns from the WMU School of Social Work who have led success groups that empower adult learners to be more resilient, confident, and persistent in their learning despite challenges due to COVID and other community conditions. Along with the WMU McGinnis Reading Center, Clinic and Center, these college students have also helped to develop strategies for engaging parents to help them be more capable first teachers for their children. During this past year, students, faculty, and staff from WMU worked with KLC on a broad range of community partnerships to engage the Edison neighborhood and to find ways residents can improve health outcomes through an intensive policy systems and environmental change project led by an MSU student. WMU benefits extremely from having committed partnerships in the community such as KLC and in co-sponsoring this symposium, as well as other endeavors that support adult learning. From the WMU Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, and I saw Dr. Tony Wolfark Barnes is present here today, as well as the WMU Walker Institute for the Study of Race and Ethnic Relations. And I believe Dr. Luchara Wallace, who is director of the Walker Institute, is here as well. Better practices for learning and community engagement have been developed in neighborhoods and communities where our collaboration is thriving. To end, WMU is proud to be a vocal advocate for adult learning. Without community collaboration such as this, it would be impossible to share the wealth of knowledge WMU's faculty, staff, and particularly students possess to improve learning outcomes for adult learners throughout Southwest Michigan. We value this strong partnership with KLC and commit to continue our important work together, especially in these uncertain times as we try to heal from the current pandemic and the racial and social injustices of our past. I wish you a productive symposium and learning experience, and as one of our mottos of WMU, so that all may learn. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dean. Hi, everyone. My name is Kito Giamatti Marshall. I'm the Marketing and Fund Development Coordinator from the Kalamazoo Literacy Council. I'm going to next share my screen and play a video from Kevin Morgan, the CEO of Pro Literacy. So give me just one moment and I will share my screen. All right. Can everyone see me okay, or see the video okay? I'm going to assume yes. All right.
Hi, my name is Kevin Morgan, and I'm the president and CEO of Pro Literacy. Pro Literacy is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to change lives and communities through the power of adult literacy education. Our work includes educational resources from our publishing division, New Readers Press, as well as research, professional development, and advocacy for our 1,000 Pro Literacy member programs in the United States. We're proud to say that the Kalamazoo Literacy Council is one of our member programs. This year has been unprecedented due to the COVID-19 pandemic. While our collective work has been challenged on many fronts, the can-do attitude of the Kalamazoo Literacy Council and other Pro Literacy member programs this year has resulted in new, innovative initiatives that continue to positively impact adult literacy students. A Pro Literacy national survey earlier this year found that 86% of adult literacy programs, while physically closed, were reaching students through remote learning activity. The survey indicated that programs are using an array of tools to facilitate remote learning that included a variety of digital and print applications. When we asked adult literacy programs what they needed to better connect with students remotely, the number one need was training for staff on digital literacy tools, followed by additional funding, printed material that has a digital component, and digital English language learning and math content. Pro Literacy has made new efforts this year to help sustain local literacy programs. This includes supplying grants through our Literacy Relief and Mobile Learning Funds for our high school equivalency ELL and adult basic education products, a 50% discount on Zoom licenses for Pro Literacy member programs, weekly remote learning webinars, and a new advocacy toolkit for adult education and literacy programs to use the latest skills data, program activity, and student impact stories to advocate with stakeholders at the local and state levels. Many challenges remain. Marginalized adults are often the first to lose their job during an economic downturn and the last to get them back. Pro Literacy is advocating that any new federal stimulus funding include incremental funding for adult literacy education. At times like this, programs such as the Kalamazoo Literacy Council bring communities closer together in a spirit of cooperation to solve adult literacy issues, improve education and employment opportunities, and provide support for program administrators, teachers, volunteers, and students. On behalf of the Pro Literacy Board of Directors and staff, I want to congratulate the Kalamazoo Literacy Council for enhancing the lives of adults in your community for close to 50 years, and wish you all the best as you hold your 2020 Adult Literacy Research and Training Symposium. Happy holidays.
What a great video. And now we're going to turn it over to Sakia Lee of the Kalamazoo Promise.
Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Sakia Lee, and I am the Director of Community Collaboration for the Kalamazoo Promise, as well as the Vice President for the Kalamazoo Literacy Council. So I will be giving you a local perspective on the importance of parent literacy And everything has gone well thus far this morning. So I'm just hoping that I can continue to have that go well as I share my presentation. I come to you sharing this topic not only as someone that works in education, but I am often very candid about growing up in a home, a two-parent home, where my father had low literacy skill levels, and my mother often did the brunt share of working in our household. And so I can remember early on when it was like maybe cutting out shapes or circling things, and my father could help me a lot, but it wasn't until we got to when math became story problems, when I had to kind of write full sentences for English, that I knew then something was a little different about my father. And I can only imagine what students are faced with now as they are in homes where they are learning remotely. And if they don't know that their parents have low literacy skills, the struggle that that can be for the family. I want to talk to you about the importance of this topic to the Kalamazoo Promise. Here you will see me at El Concilio, which is one of the KLC sites as well, playing with a toddler. And at the Promise, we typically get really excited when we're tabling out in the community and folks come over and talk to us. I get the most excited when I see toddlers and babies, because I know that often children start off with sometimes 3 million word gaps, 30 million word gaps. By the time that they get to early childhood education, if they don't have folks talking to them in the home and going through word books and just a variety of things, they start kindergarten, they start early education off behind. And that only continues, especially in the state where we look at benchmarks for reading around third grade. So I'm always telling parents about the KLC, about different resources and supports, just so we know that they can be the best teacher, the first teacher for their children in their home. Speaking of parents as first teachers, again, we're very excited to celebrate that each year with the Kalamazoo Promise, over 700 students graduate. 94% of them go off to some post-secondary education program. However, their kindergarten class typically starts with about 1,000. So 300 along the way, there has been something that has happened, and we don't know exactly what that is, but we know that some of them, their journey has been different because they don't have the benefit of the parent being the first teacher in the home, or even another adult being the first teacher in the home, and we know that can be detrimental on the future of their learning. The impact of literacy on success, I purposely put this young man and this young man of color in this picture, because we know that children of parents with low literacy skills have a 72% chance of being at the lowest literacy level, according to the National Bureau of Economic Research. Focusing on parent literacy impacts child literacy, which has profound impacts for academic success. This is especially true when considering, as I mentioned before, Michigan's third grade reading law. We know that if third graders are not fully proficient by third grade, they will be held back. And that isn't something that happened this year because of COVID, but that is going to impact boys, and that is going to impact boys of color. And again, what does that look like when we know about the school to prison pipeline? We know that sometimes predictions are really made about our children via third grade. So again, helping the parent only continues to help the student. I want to talk about the impact of parents with low literacy, specifically during the pandemic. And here I have a picture of a young man. It looks like he's tearing up a little bit in a corner by himself. And something could have been tough for him. But the thing I want to point out is a lot of kids are in homes by themselves trying to navigate virtual learning because the parent cannot assist and cannot help them. I am hearing, and I don't have kids, but I'm hearing that virtual learning is hard from folks with PhDs and a whole alphabet behind their name. So just imagine how difficult it is for parents with low literacy levels, and the impact that has on the child that has to navigate things alone, or have to, I've seen some kids have to stick around for longer sessions after the regular school day has ended. And it's almost to me like detention when you school day's done, but like now you have to stick around because you couldn't master that lesson, you couldn't get past the point in regular class time because you needed some additional assistance. This is a wordy slide, but I'm going to walk you through the gist of it. So when I first thought about the digital divide, I was like, oh, that kind of means that folks don't have access to be able to get online in their home, and like kids might struggle with a little bit of help. But luckily, some folks that have researched this, Dr. Jacob Nielsen, looks at the digital divide in 3 areas: the economic divide that it can have on folks, the usability divide, again, the access piece, and the empowerment divide. And to me, when I thought about those 3 components, I thought, wow, that's extremely huge. We know that this divide and parents struggling will have some economic impacts on their students in the long run. I also know for those parents that already have the laptops in the homes, because that's a struggle, but the KLC has done an amazing job with lending out laptops. The city of Kalamazoo itself had purchased 1,000 hotspots, but we know that those things alone won't be enough. They are contending with families that everybody already had a device in the home. I'm not sure if you have heard about quarantine pods, where parents that are a little bit wealthier, like they're not even wasting time trying to walk through things with their students. They are putting them in a pod. They are paying some of the best tutors. Students are exceeding and excelling. They have a whole village to lean on in their own neighborhood. But at the same time, we still have our students in homes with no devices. Again, folks struggling to help them. They don't have the extra support. And this will particularly impact our low-income students, our students of color, our students who are in households where there are multiple languages spoken and or English is not the first language, because during this time, folks are not putting up captions in other languages and things of that nature. And those are who are typically often marginalized in the education system. So I ask you to just think about for a few seconds, what will this impact this first year of kindergartners in 2020? A lot of elementary students, what will this look like for them years from now? And we already think about those things every single day at the Kalamazoo Promise as we wait with the light at the end of the tunnel to say, hey, utilize this money that you have over the next 10 years to get a credential. But we know it's going to look very different with the next generation of learners. And again, that's why it's super important for us to look at supporting the entire family and supporting the parents.
Seki, I just want to interrupt real quick. We just have 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, I'm going to get through the rest of my slides. Some of the things we know about the digital divide during the pandemic. Again, parents struggle to also get on to laptops. They're struggling to balance work and parenting, all of the other pieces. Students don't log on as regularly. We have some students I'm hearing in school districts that have not logged on since the pandemic started in March. It takes a village. It takes not only the KLC, but the education system, administrators, the community at large. And I think I have one more slide just to tell you the Kalamazoo Promise is committed to this topic. That's us in the middle at Scrabble Fest. But you'll also see pictures of us out in the community as we continue to lift up this amazing organization, the need to help parents. When we have our new facility, whenever COVID's over and it's done being built, we will be sure to bring parent literacy into our building and to encourage our alumni students to come on, give back, and to be tutors. And I made it in 2 minutes.
You actually have 1 minute. So if there's anything else you'd like to say, go ahead.
I will just conclude with, again, via personal lived experiences, being an education partner in the work, this topic is very near and dear to me. I look forward to the next year as we map out parent literacy a little bit more. And as I take on the role of being the next president, if you have any questions about anything I said, curious about the promise, or just want to talk about parent literacy, here's my contact information.
Thank you so much. What a great presentation. And we are going to be concluding and moving on to the next session. So thanks everyone for attending this welcoming session. Thank you.